Hey guys, David here, and welcome to Digital Outlook. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. One thing this space is not, and that is boring. Boy, oh boy, today have we ever been seeing a rumble going on. And what's it all about? Well, guys, it's about the legislation surrounding the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. Right now, as I'm recording this, they are duking it out there in Congress and trying to have a second vote on this whole deal because the first one didn't go through. And the reason is you got these holdouts, these dinosaurs like Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that, out there trying to just get as much pork into these bills as possible, which seems to be the MO of some of these politicians, guys. You just can't have them shoot a straight arrow. There's got to be some kind of zinger in there that they have to get in. Oh my goodness. And so, of course, that's what's being negotiated right now. And so we're going to see whether or not in the second voting later on tonight, this thing even goes through. But guys, what I believe is this: eventually it's going to happen. They have no choice. They have no choice. They know exactly where the wide world is going. And of course, do they want to throw innovation offshore and all that invention and lose out on that, being the tip of the spear when it comes to what's going to be, unfolding in the wide world with this distributed ledger technology space? No, guys, they don't. And this is why I think what we're watching is a dog and pony show right there. Now, in the meantime, get this. Of course, markets reacted to this negativity, and we've seen drops in prices and that. But you got XRP at 290. You got whales gobbling it up like absolute crazy. In fact, I'm going to tag an article in here where it's talking about corporations are coming into this space and big time. Guys, you cannot listen to the nonsense and this puppet show that we're watching over here in Congress and miss out on what's really going on behind the scenes. This over here, as far as I'm concerned, is nothing but an utter distraction. It's an absolute show in comparison to what we know is going on behind the scenes. The ones that are really pulling strings, that really actually have power over how this wide world works. If you think it's these guys sitting up there on the hill, you got another thing coming. They all dance to somebody else's tune, guys. We know that's for a fact. And they all know it because, of course, who signs the checks for all their campaigns? Bingo! You got it. A lot of these politicians, they have been bought and they are paid for. That is my personal opinion. Now, I don't actually support either party hardcore that way. I'm a libertarian. I probably do kind of lean more towards, having less government intervention and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't go with all this crowd that wants big time oversight, big time government, big time this, big time that. Why? Because I believe in your liberty and mine. Look, are we kindergartners? Do we really need the likes of Elizabeth Warren out there telling you and I, what we can buy, what we can't buy? Because of course we can't make any decisions for yourself, don't you know? And yet she's out there literally saying that you and I, because we're in this digital asset space, we got to be either tax cheaters or fraudsters. Come on, that is obscene. But that's the kind of stuff that gets said. I mean, she sat there with Gary Gensler and they played nothing but a puppet show when he was there before the Senate Banking Committee, and she's asking the questions. He's given the answers, but they rehearsed the whole thing beforehand. Utter shame. Both of them should have resigned their position because they betrayed their oath of office right there. But they want us to actually, they want to pretend like we're just stupid idiots out here and have no clue whatsoever of the character that they're actually displaying. Guys, if you and I did that in our careers, we would be done. Our credibility would be finished. We'd be out the door and it would be over. But with these guys, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. That's what's going on. That's what we have to expect when and it's the same world over. Come on. It doesn't matter what side of the globe you're on. All politicians, man, they just dance to somebody else's tune. They sing whatever song they need to sing when it comes out to get, they will literally give you bucketfuls of cotton candy to get your vote. Once they got it, Casper the Friendly Ghost. You don't see hiding or hair of them, and they never return your calls. Isn't that something? But that's where we're at. Guys, we're watching whales gobble up XRP massively in this space, like I said, and a bunch of TA guys coming out right now and saying, listen, this retrace we're seeing right now, don't Don't blink, because I'll tell you what, it could fire off in the reverse in just a second. I mean, do you think that XRP, we're struggling there, guys, for a long time at what, 220? Here we are, $2.90. Now, maybe we've even retraced a little more, $2.80 some cents. But the thing is, from where we were, that is absolutely phenomenal. And where we're going, guys, Judy and I watched it tinker along like this, the way that we have seen. And then all of a sudden, boof. Many of you have seen it yourself, didn't you? I mean, before the president got elected, XRP was just dinkering along just like this, around that 40, 50 cent range. And then all of a sudden, woof, just like that, way up there, 400% gains. That is legendary. By the way, when you think of a traditional market, legendary. If you get 20, 30% in a traditional market, are you ever doing good? And here you got like 400%, and we aren't even close to being finished. Right? That right there tells me everything that I need to know, guys. I know what I hold. I've got to know my soil. I know what it's made of. I know where it's taken me. I know what potential yield it can produce. And I'll tell you what, boy, do I ever have my seed right in that ground. That is for sure. I am believing to see some major deals happen. And I've got targets all the way up from the bottom right to the top. You can be guaranteed about that. And I'll tell you guys, it is an exciting time. In fact, in sentiment-wise, it feels exactly like it did way back when we were getting in there and we were ready to see this thing move. I'm telling you, does it ever feel just like it felt like then? You can almost taste it in the atmosphere, and it feels like it could be any moment at all. In fact, guys, it would not surprise me to see within the next week or two we're into double digits, if not by the end of this week. It could happen. I've seen that happen before. And so this is the way I look at it. Do you think I'm getting shaken up by all of this nonsense and all this game playing? Not in your life. Why? Because, you see, I've looked down the road. I've pulled back the curtain. I've done the research that I need to do to build up the confidence that I have right in here. And I share with you day by day the convictions I got, 100% biased opinions, and make zero bones about that. And at the same time, encourage you to get out there and research it for yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Look, I can get on here and I could talk. I could talk you into it. Well, if I can talk you into it, someone else can certainly talk you out of it. Guys, you need to have that reservoir of conviction built up right down in here for yourself. But the thing is, a lot of folks, they're listening to all the naysayers. How many people were talked out of XRP by the likes of Crypto Bellwether and all these other naysayers back when XRP was literally at 30, 40 cents? I mean, it was insane. At that time, you had guys like him saying that the whole thing was going to 10 cents and missed out on some of the biggest gains we have seen in this bull cycle and could not even buy back in. And that's where, you cannot listen to all the nonsense and the noise and stuff like that. And listen to these guys that come off as experts. Boy, they're like, they're crickets now. Where are they now? Where is he now? Well, I'll tell you what, they're not out there doing anything. Why? Because, guys, their credibility is worthless. Absolutely worthless. I mean, to think, if you were out there, if I was out there, and I'm telling people, look, I tell people what I believe, but I don't tell you what to believe. Big difference. These guys are telling you what you should believe, and on and on and on. And to me, that's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. Hey, you can go share your opinion, but when you start shoving it down someone else's throat like that and telling them that they have to believe that, that's crazy. But that's what goes on in this space, and that's what the FUD is all about. It's about fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And ask yourself this: why, oh why, of all the ecosystems that there are, does XRP get the absolute majority of the FUD? Well, guys, I'll tell you why. Because the ones shilling it, the ones shoveling all that FUD, are literally terrified. That's why. They are terrified. They're terrified because they know when this lit thing absolutely blows the doors off of everything else, it is going to make the fortunes of so many. And they are terrified of losing their position of control. Right there. That's exactly what's going down. Guys, do you realize that this space represents probably one of the only opportunities in the history of the wide world where you and I, as average folks, could go out and front run these elites and their institutions? Do you realize that? Because, I mean, the amount of millionaires that have been made through this distributed ledger technology space is truly astounding. And they know it, but we got ahead of them, guys. We got ahead of them. Now, all the institutions are just gobbling up, but they're using every trick in the trade that they have ever had. They want to scare you and I out of our hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars of investment, while they literally on the sidelines gobble up all that fear when people capitulate, and they are out there buying it like crazy. And I'm telling you right now, we could very well see, I personally believe this, a supply shock for XRP where you're not going to be able to find it on the exchanges like you think you can right now. And it is going to be crazy. You're going to have demand from the ETFs. You're going to have demand from the banks and utilization. You are going to have demands from the government and on and on. And guys, they are going to be salivating for your and my XRP. You had better believe it. Now, you think about the people out there that are going to turn around at $100 and sell and stuff like that. In the minds for everybody. Now, I throw this down there. I've said this before, but it's something to think about. Look, it's not like you're in the casino and you just won at the craps table and you take your chips over to the cashier and cash in. No, every time somebody sells at 100, somebody else has to be on the other side of that transaction buying it. Number one, who do you think that's going to be? Do you think it's going to be another retail player? No, my guess is it's going to be big-time institutions gobbling it up like crazy, and they will literally take it right off the shelves, and before long, you're going to find out, in my estimation, probably won't be enough XRP to go around. That's what I genuinely believe. And so, yeah, we have a bag to sell, we got a bag to hold, and we got a plan to fulfill. Right there. That is what Judy and I are thinking, and we're doing. And like I said, we got our targets, man, alive. Right there. We got them. And we have literally we've been just absolutely zeroing in. And I'm not going to let these guys, with all the game playing they're doing, like they're doing today in Congress, to kind of shake me out of it. That is a fact, Jack. So guys, just buckle up. Get ready. I think we're about to see the ride of our lives, and it is going to be massive. Massive. Probably the biggest alt season that we have ever seen in the history of this digital asset space, including 2017. Right there, guys. That's what I believe. And I'm waiting. But I'll tell you, you got to be as strategic as can be and think through, and all of the various goals that you want to think about it. I'll tell you that right there. So guys, until tomorrow, we're going to have another amazing coffee chat. Have a fabulous one and take care.